I don't look at single data points anymore because a single data point doesn't really tell you much about the system. But with enough data points, it starts to look like this. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. Welcome back to Field Notes. This is Field Notes episode 6, where I'm bringing you on the journey as I attempt to understand the world around me through a number of sensors that I've set up around my house. And I'm going to be honest with you. The past couple of weeks, I've been staying up insanely late because I've been trying to fix all sorts of issues with the sensors logging, the timestamps being synchronized, the overall reliability of everything from my BME 688 sensor to my particulate matter sensor. And you've heard about these for quite a while if you've been following the channel, but the goal now is trying to harmonize all of these sensors to tell stories about my home and how I am either impacted by it or how I'm actually changing the environment. So I don't really want to focus on just collecting data, but I want to understand what the world around me looks like. And for the first time, I feel like something has really clicked. I want to show you figures that really help me to understand what my environment really looks like with now collecting over 60,000 data points just in my bathroom alone. Here is a chronogram of the humidity results in my bathroom. And there's a couple patterns I want to illustrate for you just to show you how much information we're getting just by tracking humidity and time. So the x-axis are different dates in the first couple weeks of April, and the y-axis is the relative humidity in the bathroom. When you follow this chronogram, you start to see that there are distinct peaks that occur with some regularity. And there's actually two sets of spikes on most days. There is an evening set that correspond to my showering in the evening, and my wife is traditionally a morning showerer. And my wife typically showers in the morning, and we can see those spikes as well. And something else that's really cool is that she had a trip from April 9th to April 10th, and we can even see those outages in the pattern that has emerged in these results. Now, there's several other small things that you might observe in the data. One was a pretty serious storm that occurred April 16th through April 18th. And there's also something else that once it was starting to get pretty hot, there's another feature that started to emerge. Can you see it? On the warmer days, and we can also tell based on the elevated relative humidity, we have these little spikes here. And this is when the HVAC was turning on. And to me, that's really cool because we can see on the days where it was cooler, the air was turned off, and on the days that it began to warm up again, the air was turned back on. And so there's all sorts of patterns that we can see visually with our eyes. And now imagine we start applying other ways to visualize this data and use algorithms to help identify outliers, what we might observe in this data. So now we're moving from just having a bunch of random data points to starting to see patterns that emerge even with some of these very simple line plots. But what happens if we start making it look a bit more like a heat map? What could we tell with that data? Now I've annotated some of the same events, but I'm visualizing the data very differently. I now have the day of the week on the y-axis and hour of the day on the x-axis. So now we're able to zoom in a little bit differently on the data. One of the top patterns I want to use to link this data to the data I just showed you is that, as I said before, I typically shower in the evening, and we can see a lot of events that are identified in the latter part of the day on the right and on the left. Additionally, we can see that there are some missing humidity events during my wife's trip. Again, very consistent with what I already know to have happened in the house. And on the day where we had a lot of rain, we see a huge band, the storm, we see a huge band of humidity. Now there's other things that are also occurring in the weather that I haven't quite annotated on this data, but we can see there's so many things already present. And as a data nerd, this is just simply very exciting. But just like the night sky, with enough data points, it can start to look like a constellation. So let me revise how I want to illustrate this data, where instead of showing you all the data, let's just focus on some of the events that I've been able to tag and see the patterns that emerge even more clearly with a different view. And so what I have here is something that resembles almost a night sky, where we have on the left and far right side, we have a lot of my shower events that occur pretty late. As I said before, I tend to shower at night. I enjoy getting the pollen off my body. And my wife typically showers in the morning, and we can see her shower window is usually between 6 a.m. and 7 a.m. during the week. And on weekends, they slide a little bit. I shower a little bit later, she showers a little bit later, and we can just see all sorts of patterns that are starting to emerge just by tracking something as simple as humidity. Now, as you know, in my kitchen, I have many more sensors that we can start to generate similar plots just like this. with annotations that I'm already creating for a future video. But interestingly, we have a couple of anomalous events. One that happened on April 18th around 2 o'clock in the morning, and another one that same time around 7. Now, what these were exactly could be many things. They could be cleaning events, they could be lightning, or different things that are impacting the humidity in the environment. We don't quite know, and this is where improved feature annotation would be very useful. Another thing, on April 23rd, very likely this is a cleaning event. This is around midday when I typically would clean the bathroom a couple times a month. And this doesn't really correspond to a significant humidity event as well. So I'm guessing this is likely a cleaning event. And these 2 points could be due to the storm. But as I gather more data, I'll be able to better reconcile these anomalous events. Now, something else that's pretty cool is that with enough data, I can start generating summaries from these results. So something as simple as my wife's shower time is typically between 6 a.m. and 9 a.m. And this corresponds really between differences with the weekday and weekend. And then my shower night routine is typically between 9 and 11:30. Although as you can see, sometimes it kind of tips way too late or way too early in the morning, depending on if it's one of those days where I'm trying to fix this entire system. But with these patterns, I can start to maybe automate other events or look at what else is happening. So on a day where I'm showering late, what does that morning look like? Or what might be occurring in my office? So one of the things that I'm looking forward to is that I incorporate more sensors in the laundry room, in my office, in the kitchen, in the bedrooms. What type of patterns might emerge throughout the entire house? And are there things that we can do to improve the air quality or improve the sleep quality? And what about the car? And so, of course, this is not just about tracking humidity. This is about understanding the pattern, understanding how we're impacting the environment and how the environment is impacting us. And this just gives us a new way to look for those patterns, those insights, and things that we can do to live a healthier life and control our exposure. And so, as I continue to track my home, I'm going to be looking at different events around cleaning and cooking and what happens when the door opens. And there's many other homes that I know from talking to people that they enjoy burping their home. That is, they open all the windows and the doors and let the fresh air into the house. Now, I've been reading a lot of publications that might suggest that although you could be helping to flow out CO2 and other things that would be an indication of poor ventilation, you might be introducing other particulate contaminants from the surrounding environments. And so with all of these sensors, we're going to be able to understand what's happening and why. And then as I continue to label these events, we can start building algorithms to help understand the impact. If you air fry in the kitchen and open the door to the garage while the car is still running, what might be happening? And are those events going to be detrimental to your health? Let's say you have a kid with asthma or other pulmonary issues. And how can we start to mitigate that in our homes, in our schools, and in our cars? If you have other experiments you want me to run, let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.